So the Warrior class saw some doozies of power cards dropped in heavy hitters, but Unsheathed from Rosetta has opened up the sword archetypes like probably no other card we've ever seen. Now, historically, the triple-saber Dorinthea hasn't really been practical in Blitz because you don't really have long enough to set up, and the constant pressure kind of loses out to explosivity. But I think with Unsheathed, coupled with new staples, obviously from Heavy like Blade Flurry and Shift the Tide, and of course old reliables like Hit and Run, we now have a different ballgame. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast, and thanks so much for tuning in today as we're looking at another Blitz deck headed into Skirmish Season 10. That's right, it's right around the corner. And I wanted to bring up, or kind of revisit, I should say, the triple swing warrior build coming off of, obviously, my girl, Dorinthea. Now, the reason she gets obviously she's not sitting down with 3 swords, right? But what she does with her ability is when one of those swords hits, specifically in this case, one of her weapons, but one of the swords that we're talking about today hits, you can swing it again, right? Now, it's always been a very effective, so we actually saw quite a bit of success with her during heavy hitters with the Axes build. But with Unsheathed coming out, which is just an incredible, amazing card, it really puts the focus back on those Cintauri Sabers, right? Obviously, from a thematic standpoint for Kassai, but obviously with Dorinthea, things get very interesting because they can come in 3 times as long as we can set up for it. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, historically, the triple swing Dorinthea has kind of struggled in Blitz just because it really lacks the explosivity. You're really counting on them to block, and a lot of times in Blitz, they're really just trying to shoot the moon, and you don't really have on hits, so to speak, so there's really nothing to stop them from doing that, right? So what she wants to do with this build is really just kind of grind out and get the mathematical advantage, but a lot of times in Blitz, you don't have time to do that. But things have changed, I think, with Unsheathed. So when you combine Unsheathed with some of the cards we got out of Heavy Hitters, specifically Shift the Tide of Battle and Blade Flurry, okay, and then obviously we have like the old staples, Hit and Run, right? When we consider these new cards all together, you really look at a significantly lowered pitch curve, right? I mean, if you think about historical warrior of being able to give something go again, it costs you 1. Now, sure, there's usually a pump associated with that, but a triple swing Dorinthea list would by and large require you to have like an E-Pod on the table or something like that if you weren't going to do it with 2 pitch cards. And because we've gotten so much just raw damage output, now Blade Flurry, yes, is just 4 on top of that, helps with the hit and then on the back. But Shift the Tide of Battle is just 1 more of these 0 cost go again cards. So as I mentioned, we have Unsheathed, we have Hit and Run, we have Shift the Tide of Battle. All of these just give go again, and now you can do a lot of what you want to do with just a single blue pitch card, and that's really changed the game. So what you see now is Thea Unsheathed, right? Everybody calls her Dory, but her name's actually Thea, right? Fun fact, okay? So this deck, obviously, the link is below. And give it some runs. It's really fun to play. Okay, so I am on Saber and Hot Streak in this case, right? Hot Streak makes a lot of sense because a lot of times they don't want to block it. And then if they don't block it, what do you have? You have a hit, and now you get to swing it again, okay? So most of the time you're going to lead with Hot Streak, okay? Makes sense. Now, if you are leading with something out of the gate, like an Unsheathed or something like that, well, maybe you just go Saber and help with you with the math. But so we're on Bracers, we're on Courage for free sword swings, we're on Crown of Providence, and then we're, of course, we're on Dynamo, because why would you not be? Card is crazy good. Then 1 Saber and 1 Hot Streak. Now, going into the deck, you see a lot of the cards that we just talked about in terms of the awesomeness. We're running Blade Flurry, +2 on 2 swings, not the whole turn, unfortunately. Not the whole turn, unfortunately. We are running Blade Runner Rainbow, and then Hit and Run Rainbow. So Hit and Run is so massively crucial for Dorinthea's second swing because you get everything you want, right? So you lead with some sort of card, you have goes, and then you play Hit and Run. Well, if you're only swinging twice, you lose out on that goes, but not in the triple swing build, right? So Hit and Run obviously is so absolute crucial to success here, and that's why we're running Rainbow. We're on In the Swing Red-Blue. The nice thing about the blue version, yes, it follows the same curve you'd expect of just 1 on the blue, but remember, it's not a reprise effect, right? So you can always push it if you need to. We're on 1 Iron Song response, 1 Nourishing Emptiness, 2 Sharpened Steels for the pumps. Again, so Sharpened Steel is something you'd want to do. Like if you had a Sharpened Steel in your hand, you'd go Sharpened Steel into Hot Streak, right, to throw the 5, because then if they don't block it, they take 5, and this is Blitz, and that's pretty good, right? And then you do worry about the rest of it. So it's, again, about making those smart choices of where to lead with based on the cards that you have to go with it. Okay, we're on Sink Below because the card is obviously a windmill slam into almost everything you need. Slice and Dice for value. Take it on the chin. This card is absolutely insane. It's so freaking good. Love that card. Unsheathed, of course, we're on Run Through, Shift the Tide of Battle, and then we have Glint. We have Goblet of Blood-Run Wine, because sometimes maybe you can't get what you... Now, keep in mind, this is a blue itself, so it can feed you. But this is an amazing one where if you've got the Go Again and maybe you didn't hit or something like that, right? So, like, let's say Hot Streak, they block it, you get Go Again, and then you have your second swing, but no Go Again on that. Or no ability to swing again because they block it, is what I'm saying, right? You can gobble it down, right? So they block it, but you still have Go Again because they hit and run. Then you can gobble it, okay? So make sure to use it intelligently, but you'll know when to use it and when not to. And then the one everybody doesn't like, but I love this card, don't leave home without your blue shunts, baby. All right, going into the inventory, we now run into the warrior problem in Blitz, especially the dual swing warrior problem in Blitz. You got to run AB3, so that takes up 3 slots, and then you have another weapon. So you only have really 3 functional slots. Sworn Arcane Polarity here. Okay, so this doesn't help you in the Blaze issue where you need to stop the Opti-Opt. But considering what we need to do and how resource intensive we are, Arcane Polarity, I believe, would be the right play. And then we're on 1 FFS for, of course, the Herald of Triumph, because Prism is a real thing in Blitz. So that's, I think we talked about strategy as we went. It's pretty cut and dry. But if you really go look at the profile, right, 12 blues is actually pretty good to be able to feed what you need. 20 reds, 8 yellows, okay, fills it out. The deck's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun, and you know, I would put this probably in like a tier 2 type deck, but I think a lot of people aren't really expecting this, and I think a lot of folks, especially right now in Blitz, really only value block for the most part, right? Because they want to do what they want to do, and they'll just chuck whatever's not in their hand or whatever they don't need in their hand. I mean, so I think that's where this really sets up, because once you get the third swing in, you're getting incredible value out of your one turn, right? I mean, even at the basic level, if you swing a 2 cost 3 times, you're at 6. Well, that's itself's not good, but then you've got a pump somewhere, a blade runner somewhere, a hit and run somewhere in order to make that happen. Now you're looking at like the 10 to 12 range, and that's pretty good, right? And it's really not that hard with all of the cards that we have here to make that happen. So anyway, have some fun with this. Let me know what you're thinking. If nothing else, folks, go Commando.